Welcome back to using the ratio table for division part two. So let's take a look at these numbers. These are a little bit bigger than part one. Obviously, in part one, we were just working with single digits, getting them used, introduced to the concept. So let's um, see how we could solve 318 divided by 6, right? Again, we want to use an area model for that. So I'm going to build my rectangle with 318 square units. One of my dimensions is 6, right? So I do not like to use the goes into model because um, this is not really, depending on context, we're not putting 6 into 318, depending on the type of division situation that we have. So let's think about some friendly numbers we could use. If we use 6 times 1, that's going to be 6, right? Too small. Let's do 6 times 2. That's going to be 12. Another friendly number is 5. 6 times 5 would get us to 30. Well, let's use the next friendly number, 6 times 10, and that'll give us 60, right? From here on, some students might begin to see that, hey, this is, if we add a zero here or we multiply it by 10, which is what really we want them to say is, that'll get us close. So I'm gonna probably use 6 times 100 before I even do 50, and I'll tell you why in a bit. So that is 600, right? We know it's too much, but again, at least the students know now that it's going to be less than 100, their quotient, right? So we're estimating quotient. So let's have that 6 times 50. And if they don't understand, they don't know what 6 times 50 is, just have them take half of the 100 because 50 is half of 100. So that means we have 300. Ooh, that is really close. So let's use that as our first quotient, 50. 6 times 50 is 300, and I have a remainder of 18. 18 is greater than my divisor, so that means I could still build more groups of 6. So I'm going to transfer that into my new area. So now it's what is 6 times what gives me close to 18? Well, I know 6 times 2 gives me close to 12. And then if I add one more group of 3, that'll be 18. So that's mean not 2, but 3 groups of 6. And that'll be 18. My remainder is 6. So my partial quotient would be 53, or my unknown would be 53. Again, something I forgot to do here is that I always push my students to write the inverse operation. So this would have been unknown times 6 equals 318, or 6 times unknown is the same as 318. I really, really want students to understand that division means missing factor. And that is the reason why we use multiplication to find out a division problem, right? So let's take a look at the next one. 368 divided by 8, right? So the inverse operations for those would be 8 times unknown would give me 368, and unknown times 8 equals 368. Now, I'm not giving direct instructions to students. I'm hoping this comes out of them. I'll just do it a little bit faster just because I believe that 5-minute videos are the best. I don't want to code you here for 30 minutes. So 368 divided by 8, right? Again, how do I get to there, right? My students might not know their facts, which 50% of the time, some students struggle with facts. And that's okay because just because they don't know their facts doesn't mean they cannot do math. So let's try our friendly numbers. 8 times 1 is 8. Ooh, this by now I want students to start pushing more efficiency. So I'm gonna say like let's use some friendly numbers that are pretty big. So I might hear like 8 times 10. Ooh, that is 80. Pretty close. Well, let's try maybe 8 times 100. Remember, it doesn't matter because we're gonna estimate quotients. That's 800. Ooh, we went too far, right? So let's try to half that. 8 times 50. That'll be 400. And that's okay because at least now my students know that's gonna be more than less than 50 now, right? 100 was too big and 50 is also too big. So let's try maybe doubling the 10. 8 times 20 would be 160. Hey, that's pretty close. Let me try to double that again. 8 times 40, and that would be 320. Hey, that's pretty close, right? So let me use 40 as my first quotient, and that is 320. a remainder of 48, right? And let me move that in here. Let's say that your students don't know their facts of their eights, which that's the ones that students struggle with, but they might know their fives, right? So 8 times 5 would give me 40. So we could add that to our table here. 8 times 5 is 40. Remember, you don't have to go in order when you use your friendly numbers because this is just a think out loud for my class as I'm working with them. So 8 times 5 is 40. I have a remainder of 8. Ooh, look. What am I going to do with that 8? I'm going to build a new array because I'm not done yet. And 8 times 1 gives me 8, 1. And a remainder of 0. So here are my partial quotients, 45 and 8, which is the same as 46, right? Hope you like this button. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be shooting some more videos on how to do decimals using a ratio table in a bit, all right? Have a good one.